Hello everyone, today we will explore the life and legacy of Loreto Parasulit, a Filipino writer known for her English language short stories. She emerged in the pre-war era and has been called a pioneer of Philippine literature in English. In this presentation, we'll cover her biography, her major works, a closer look at one story, her contributions to Philippine literature, why she matters today, and a personal reflection from a Negros or Hiligaynon perspective. Loreto Parasulit was born on December 10, 1908 in Ermita, Manila. She grew up under American colonial rule in the Philippines. Parasulit attended the University of the Philippines where she co-founded the UP Writers Club in 1927 along with peers like Jose Garcia Villa. She graduated magna cum laude in 1930 with a bachelor's degree in education. After college, Parasulit became an English teacher at Florento Torres High School while continuing to write fiction. In the 1940s, she joined the Philippine National Red Cross and eventually served as Secretary General for decades. Her long service, over 41 years, was officially recognized by Congress. She lived nearly a century, passing away in April 2008 at the age of 99. Parasulit wrote during a time when Filipino writers were just beginning to use English to express Filipino life, values, and identity. Parasulit was most prolific between the late 1920s and 1930s. She wrote numerous short stories, many of which have been included in Philippine literature anthologies. Her story Harvest in 1930 is especially famous and was widely anthologized. Other notable titles include The Bolo, Frankincense, Eyes of a Man, Interlude in Fragrance, and Three Women. In 1950, the collection The Fearless Spear and Other Stories was published, and in 2001, Harvest and Other Stories was released by De La Salle University Press. Her stories often draw on Philippine rural settings and folklore. These green fields reflect the environment of many of her tales. In Harvest, for example, two brothers labor in the rice paddies, and the narrative vividly captures farm life and family dreams. Let's dive deeper into one of her most famous stories, The Bolo, published in 1927. The Bolo is widely taught and is among the first English short stories written by a Filipino author. In this tale, two poor sisters, Clara and Sita, struggle with starvation and consider selling their most precious heirloom, a family bolo, to survive. Parasulit uses a simple, straightforward narrative to highlight Filipino family and cultural values. The story's themes include poverty and harshness of greed and unregulated commerce, and the importance of tradition and generosity. While the storekeeper while the storekeeper exploits the sisters, a kind stranger named Oscar buys back the bolo at a fair price and returns it. The story shows both human cruelty and compassion, making it feel like a folk tale rooted in Filipino values of sacrifice and solidarity. Loreto Parasulit was part of the first generation of Filipino writers using English to tell Filipino stories. As a founding member of the UP Writers Club, she helped shape the literary scene. Jose Garcia Villa admired her work and even called her his idol, while novelist Juan Laya praised her as one of the great pioneers of Philippine literature in English. Her stories continue to be read in Philippine schools and universities. The values in her works, family, loyalty, respect for tradition, sacrifice, and communal generosity, remain relevant today. Her role as a female writer and humanitarian proves that Filipinas can excel in both literature and public service. As a student from Negros or with a Hiligaynon background, Loreto Parasulit's writing feels especially meaningful. Her stories reflect farm life, community struggles, and shared values familiar in Negro society. Through her relatives, through her narratives, we see how Filipino identity is shaped by tradition, family, and collective memory, even when written in English. In conclusion, Loreto Parasulit was a pioneering Filipino writer whose English language stories captured the heart of Filipino life. Her works continue to shape Philippine literature and remind us of our shared identity and values. Thank you for listening to this report on Loreto Parasulit.